Welcome everyone to the Worst Fans podcast. I'm here today with our host Rhett and Buck. Say hi, guys.
I'm the host. Oh,
Hey.
I'm a co-host. I guess.
Co-hosts.
Co-host. We're all co-hosts
Yeah, we're all
here.
co-hosts here.
Wait, does everyone have their mega pints?
A mega pint.
I do not.
Pints.
Oh, you know what?
Come on, Scott Stotts.
I finished my mega pint.
Oh, well, good for you. Drinking water, Coke.
No, it was Coke. It was the Coke Starlight edition. Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
That's what my kids like.
It was pretty good.
Edition. Yeah, I took a sip. It was like very sweet. Anyway,
This is Piss One Chango. I don't know if you remember that.
that's my brand.
Oh,
very
yeah.
nice, very nice.
Exactly.
Well, we got a lot to talk about today. We're gonna go over a couple topics because there's a lot coming out this weekend, and we're all super excited for it. But first, we're gonna talk about stuff that isn't coming out right away. Let's start off with She-Hulk. So what are your guys' thoughts on She-Hulk? There's a lot of mixed reviews on it right now.
Ooh, me. First, I love the actress they cast.
Mhm.
They picked I started watching. I mean, finished the first season, but God, I can't think of her name. Or the show. I always wanted to call it Orange is the New Black, or Orphan is the New Black, but it's Orphan
Orphan
Black.
Black, or is it? I don't know.
Orphan
never
Black. No, I'm mixing Netflix
Mhm.
titled shows accidentally, but she's probably pretty good for it. I think she's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a problem with her. It's gonna be other stuff. So go ahead.
Yeah.
I
All
said
right.
my piece.
What about you, Buck?
The trailer looked fine to me. It wasn't as cheesy as I thought it was gonna be from what I saw from the trailer.
Right.
I don't know much about She-Hulk, to be honest, other than the fact that she's Bruce Banner's cousin.
Yeah.
That's about it. Everyone is complaining about the CGI, which I guess doesn't look that great.
Mhm.
But besides that, I mean, I think I thought it looked okay.
Yeah. I mean, but that's probably my biggest concern with it is the CGI. So we're gonna pull up the trailer right now so we can all watch it together. Since I don't think we've actually done that, so let's do that. Real quick. All right. We've got the She-Hulk trailer up, so let's all watch it, shall we?
Being a superhero is a trial by fire. Who's gonna protect the world if not people like you?
See, that looks fine. That was all
I'm
right.
Jennifer Walters. I'm a lawyer. I have great friends.
Can we get some shots, please? It's an emergency.
A demanding job.
We just started a superhuman law division, and I want you to be the face of it.
And a frustrating family.
Cause you didn't ask for this, but you still gotta deal with it. Your transformations are triggered by anger and fear.
Those are like the baseline of any woman just existing.
Oh.
Bruce, kind of feels like if I don't transform, I'm gonna die.
Yes. No.
I just want to be a normal, anonymous lawyer.
Can you tell us where She-Hulk is?
Jen, you're a story now.
Girl, your ass looks crazy right now. You could be an Avenger.
Oh, I'm not a superhero. That is for billionaires and narcissists and adult orphans for some reason. Is there anything more depressing than dating in your 30s?
Yeah, this is the best date I've had in a while.
Oh.
Should we split some fries?
Let's get those to go.
All right. Oh, interesting.
Well, look,
Interesting.
Abomination's in it. So that question of what happens to Abomination after Shang-Chi, I mean, we're gonna get him in this show, so that's exciting.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
mean, in Shang-Chi, like when Wong opens the portal, he opens the portal to that cage that he's locked in now in She-Hulk. So that was a cool little knockback to Shang-Chi, which I thought.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of rumors since it is, she is a lawyer and it's attorney at law. We're gonna see Matt Murdock possibility. So
yes.
that would be quite awesome if we saw that.
Okay, yeah.
Foggy Nelson.
Foggy Nelson, that would be sick.
Is that his name? Foggy Nelson?
Yeah, that's Foggy.
Yeah.
All right,
And Jessica. That's
I'm
all I
still
know. I can't remember her.
curious.
Jessica from
Jessica Jones.
True
Jessica
Blood.
Jones.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
Jessica from from True. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. See, I'm wondering if that new series for Disney Plus, the Daredevil, is going to connect anything to the
It better.
Daredevil series we had on Netflix. I don't
have
know.
no idea.
I mean, they put it on Disney Plus. You would hope they're not going to be like, "Don't pay attention to this one we just added here. Look over here only." But it seems weird that they would have to.
I think they are going to keep the same characters. I think they're just going to PG it a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just tone it down a lot. Obviously because they can't have the same rating as it did for Netflix. So
right,
yeah.
But
They
I mean, took out some scenes, I think, like to make it available for like. I know they did that like rating thing that you should watch this, you have to get it approved or whatever. But I think they took out some scenes to even make it more family friendly. Yeah,
that sucks.
I know for sure they did that for Punisher.
Oh man, that sucks because I never got to that. I'll have to watch the PG version now.
You never finished watching it, huh? Oh, well, that sucks.
I only actually watched, sadly, Daredevil season 1 and Jessica Jones season 1.
Oh wow!
I never got to the rest of it.
Daredevil
I will.
Season 2 was probably my favorite.
Really?
Season 2 was awesome.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I hope it's better than what the CGI, because that CGI was kind of atrocious. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm wondering if they're gonna delay it. You think they could delay it to fix it? Because they've been pretty vocal about it, the CGI, that it really isn't ready.
Is it supposed to premiere August?
I believe so.
Yes. I think so. Yeah.
There's already a petition out there, I think, to delay it to fix CGI, but I don't know if that'll be.
I wanted to delay Obi-Wan for the Grand Inquisitor, but
everyone did.
That's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. 2 days.
It's it premieres in less than a day.
Yep.
So
maybe it'll surprise us. Speaking of which, that should be the next.
Yep. We got 2 days for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who's excited?
Oh, I'm excited.
We're super excited.
Excited and anxious.
I'm shitting myself at the same time, but I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a given. Considering we're very nervous. And Buck, you actually mentioned something the other day about the Grand Inquisitor and the actor that plays him.
Yeah. I see. I read. I think I forgot his name. Rupert something. The actor who plays the Grand Inquisitor. Said that unlike Hayden Christensen, who actually watched the Clone Wars and Rebels, just to I guess reaffirm his character as Anakin so he could make sure that he gets his acting chops ready and to be ready for Anakin again. This guy, Rupert, for the Grand Inquisitor, he didn't watch any episodes of Rebels or anything to prepare because he wanted to go in fresh to his own take, which I'm sorry, I don't agree with that at all.
What idiot does that? Like, why do you think you're so special? You can just go make your own thing.
That only works if you're doing a different interpretation of the character. Like, for instance, the Jokers from, Batman, The Dark Knight, and then Joker. All three of them, because they're all from different universes.
I'll buy that. Yeah.
This is the same character from Rebels. Why wouldn't you watch and do your homework on the character so you could try to interpret the character the way he's supposed to be interpreted? It doesn't make any sense. So that has me worried.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, he probably also said, I don't feel like wearing makeup or prosthetics, so like, can you just like make my head, rounder?
More Star Wars news. Star Wars Celebration this weekend. What do you guys think they're gonna announce?
I don't Cassian, right? I mean, that's
Andor.
Andor.
They're gonna have some news about that, and also Mandalorian season 3.
Yep, Mandalorian teaser.
Do you guys think, since they already announced that the next movie is going to be Taika Waititi's movie, do you think they'll make a trailer for that?
No, too early.
They'll have a trailer. I think they'll probably have art displays or maybe a title.
If they could give us what it is, like, do you remember the one thing they showed on like Investor Day when they first announced it? It was like a animated looking Star Wars title that looked like it came out of the Flintstones. It was just said Star Wars in real big, rocky looking, like pastel letters.
Yeah.
And it was like, is it going to be animated? Like, what are we getting out of this thing? So I'd like to know in general, what what is it? Like, just give me a basic baseline of what is this?
No.
I hope they acolyte. I want to see. I saw something just today or yesterday come out, a little bit of information about the acolyte, and I was like, oh, maybe that's something they'll announce.
I think it was like 100 years before the Phantom Menace or something like that.
I think it's 100 years, and they said it's gonna. This was the creator. I don't remember her name, Leslie something, maybe, but she said we're gonna start learning how the Sith infiltrated the Senate. That was, I think, the quote from her. So some people are theorizing perhaps that's whoever, if it's Plagueis, whoever led.
I think I would assume it has to be Plagueis. I mean,
yeah, the only thing that maybe saying otherwise is there's a rumor of it'll be a female Sith, and I'm pretty sure they said Plagueis was a man in episode 3. They confirmed they said the word he. But maybe it's Plagueis' master. That'd be an interesting turn, because let's go back 100 years. Perhaps her apprentice is Plagueis.
Wasn't his master Darth Bane, if I'm not mistaken? I don't know. Because I remember in the Clone Wars episode where Yoda was like on that trial to go into the afterlife, like be a ghost. He went to the Sith planet Malachor, Mal or something like that.
Yeah,
and there was
it used to be core. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And there was a Sith vision or illusion, and it was Darth Bane.
Bane, and it was Mark Hamill's voice.
Yeah, it was Mark Hamill's voice, and he was the one who said, "Oh, I created the rule of 2, blah blah blah." Like, and I don't know if that was Plagueis' apprentice though, or not. I couldn't confirm that.
I think Bane was much further back.
Yeah.
I think I didn't read Darth Bane, but yeah,
I'll do more research, I guess.
Bane is canon though because of that episode.
Yeah, he's canon.
Well, I just hope they announce something that's worthwhile during Celebration. Something that's gonna get us excited.
Yeah.
Future of Star Wars.
You would know. You were at the last Celebration, right?
Yeah.
Meaning there hasn't been one since 20.
There has not been one since 2019. Yeah.
2019. They would be shooting themselves in the foot that we would get more out of their Investor Day than a celebration aimed towards Star Wars. I feel like we probably should get something. If we don't, then there's definitely room to criticize. What are they doing?
Absolutely.
Well, especially since there hasn't been a celebration for 3 years. So I'm thinking the reason they're doing it now is because they should have some cool things lined up. I'm hoping
it's a good move. It would be a nice move. Oh, Ahsoka! You think we'll get something for Ahsoka?
Oh yeah, I didn't
forgot about that.
Right. That's
it's kind of early. It did start filming like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, so I don't know if they'll have that much, but
as long as they can give me something. It needs to be worth it, because they're at a point where Obi-Wan could be a make or break for some people. We're talking about a classic character.
Yeah.
You start messing with that, you have room to fail. When you start talking about other stuff that's kind of new, no one knows about it, it has room for,
absolutely,
a little bit of liberty, but
absolutely.
They need to be smart about it. Anyway.
Hopefully something good comes out of Celebration that we could all be excited for.
Hey, but before we close that out, as far as Star Wars, I mean, with Obi-Wan, right? A lot of rumors, a lot of expectations, right? What does Obi-Wan have to deliver for you guys? It doesn't have to be perfect, but if they deliver certain things that you're expecting or want, and they do deliver on that, what are the things that if they show you'll be happy with? Be like, all right, they at least did this, so I'm okay with it,
I mean, they got to show at least somehow how he was able to become a Force Ghost, his trial, his training to actually go into the afterlife. I think we mentioned that in the Obi-Wan podcast. I mean, Yoda teases it at the end of episode 3. I mean, I talked to Qui-Gon. I mean, like that. If that's not there, I mean, they messed up.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing if they don't put that in. What about you?
Well, like before, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect in its presentation, but they like what Marco said. Yeah, they have to explain the whole Force Ghost scenario because it was left off in episode 3. I would like at least one flashback going back to the Clone Wars, since we do have Hayden and Obi-Wan and Ewan McGregor together. I like to see Qui-Gon. I think if he's not there, man,
that would suck. But I mean,
that would suck. It's wasted.
It would suck, but at the same time, it wouldn't suck for me because then they wouldn't mess with the canon, because they already said that Qui-Gon didn't finish his training. That's why he doesn't have a physical.
But if they get those main points down, I'll be cool. If they throw in Natalie Portman as Padme and Darth Maul just for a single frame of something,
Oh, like a
that'd be
flashback
extra.
or something. Yeah.
I'll give him extra credit, even Ahsoka. But what this cannot do is just be a show of
People we don't care about.
people we don't care about. If I don't want this to be a front runner of a show in disguise of just introducing new characters when the show is called Obi-Wan, because if they think they're just gonna please the fans with just having Obi-Wan and Vader fight towards the end and that's it. Oh, that's our gift. That's not gonna be satisfactory at all, and they're crazy to think that's gonna be worth watching because they need to do a lot more than that. So that's what I'm hoping.
Okay. What about you, Rhett?
Yeah, you guys mentioned two things. The Qui-Gon. I did see something, and I've seen all of Rebels and Clone Wars. It's been a while though. Somewhere I was watching where someone said that Qui-Gon was able to complete in this time how to become the physical form.
Well, in the Mortis arc, Qui-Gon's ghost had a physical form, but it was an illusion. It was a trick by the sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But what about the sparkly
things when Qui-Gon's actually talking to Yoda? Yoda's like, "Why can't I see you?" And then Qui-Gon's like, "It's because I didn't finish. You can hear me. But if we hear his voice, I'll be happy."
I was gonna say, if I get that, that'd be enough for me.
Yeah.
If we have Liam Neeson. But
if we get a voice, I'll be fine with it too. But I'd rather see him. But if we get something, I mean, I'll be depending how they do it, I'll be okay with it. Yeah.
That's interesting because I feel like for you, if you see him, you'll like him more. But I feel like for me, if I see him, I'll like it less.
It's because it takes away from, hey, you're not giving credit to what should be there.
Yeah.
Maybe you could show every now and then a hazy outline kind of comes into play, and he's like, I've come real close, but not quite.
What if they show him in a dream that Obi-Wan's having?
That's great.
Then that could work.
That
you know what I mean?
Work, yeah.
And you could go back to a de-aged Ewan, like episode 1 looking Ewan.
That'd be cool.
Great.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Those are all things I'd like to see, but I think what really wouldn't mess it up would be good is you just give Obi-Wan his due credit. Don't make him feel like he's someone else. Don't change anything about it to make you go, when did Obi-Wan suddenly go with that philosophy? We have a lot of reason to believe he's going to be more down into the dumps considering what happened, but
yeah.
And honestly, at first I never really liked the idea of him and Vader meeting again, but since it's been so built up now in my head, that needs to deliver for me. Like I want that to be solid.
Even in the interview that Hayden did, he was like, "Yeah, there's gonna be a few parts that the fans are gonna go crazy for." Like,
yeah,
I cannot wait.
Yeah,
so that's it for me. I'm good on Obi-Wan. Just a few more days. Drum roll.
Obi-Wan, the 27th. Can't wait. So the next topic, Stranger Things. Finally, Stranger Things season 4. Is it?
Yeah,
the final season with.
Well, it's not the final season.
It's not the final season.
No,
I thought it was the final season, but it's not. Okay.
No. They were talking that for a while it was, but I think they're gonna do at least one more.
Oh, okay. I mean, considering how long these episodes are, I thought it was the final season.
Well, that's the whole consideration of the show.
It was season 6, part 1. It's like that, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. These episodes are long, and I mean, I think longer than any television series that I've seen. I mean, 3 episodes. 2 of them are about an hour and a half, and the last episode, I think for part 1, is almost like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that long, right?
Now, my question is to you guys: do you think that's too much? Do you think it's overdoing it?
How long has it been since season 3? Like 2.5 years, 3 years?
2019 was season 3.
So I mean, if they've been building this up for that long, these episodes better be entertaining as hell. So but they all better feel like miniature movies.
But what I'm scared is that it's gonna have too much filler in those episodes. I'm gonna fall asleep. I don't want that to happen. But it's possible.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I
mean, as long as they're entertaining, you should be fine. But
I mean, if they're probably gonna introduce a new character or two, there might be some sort of filler. Who knows? I mean, I don't really care. As long as it doesn't take up more than 20 minutes total for all the episodes, then I'll be okay with it. But if it's like a whole episode about one character I don't give a crap about, then I'll be pissed off.
I might, because these are long episodes. They have a lot of time to fill. It's just weird that they would go that long. It's strange. Well, then again, I would love for Obi-Wan to be that long. If those episodes were an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'd be like,
is Obi-Wan gonna be this
I'm all
long
for
too?
it.
I
I'm
feel
all
like
for
I
it.
feel like the reason that is because there's just so much more content for Obi-Wan that they could put in there as opposed to Stranger Things, which is a world
Right.
we're not exactly very familiar with for the
No,
most part.
yeah, we don't know what the next
So we can
story
expect
arc.
anything from Stranger Things.
Yeah, exactly.
Obi-Wan, we have a
exactly.
lot of expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like every Stranger Things episode or season has like its own little story arc. Like intro, you learn about it in season 1, you see the Demogorgon. The second one was like the breeding new ones, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where it ended to be honest. Oh, the cloud, right? The dark cloud thing that was season 2.
Yeah.
That's how it ended, and then that one popped up again in season 3, where the whole thing happened in the mall, basically.
Mall. Yeah, the Russians and the mall. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like more of a slime. Like it was different. Like every time there's like this new big bad. I guess we keep using that word, but
Yeah, now it's like almost like a humanoid villain or something like that in the trailer. You know what?
Do we have a trailer? Yeah, we have a trailer. Yeah,
that's right.
Show the trailer.
So
I only saw it once. This is good.
All right, so here's the Stranger Things season 4 final trailer since it's coming on the 27th. So let's watch it together, shall we?
It's time. Don't try to be heroes. There is no shame in running.
Sir. What do you think, Mike?
It's risky as hell. Chances of success are 20 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Bitchin', right?
Yeah, bitchin'.
We're a team. Friends. But it's gonna be up to us again.
Go! Drive! Bada, bada,
Very cool, very cool.
I think I saw a different one.
Yeah, this one came out 2 days ago.
It sure has been a while.
Whoops, sorry.
News to me.
Yeah, I must say the budget for this one looks massive because visually it looks impressive. It looks like a movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it does.
And I don't know if you guys saw it for a quick second. What I meant by humanoid, there's like a blue eyes, kind of look like the Night King almost.
Yeah,
it was like
he's supposed to be the main villain. Like, he's supposed to be a pretty big villain this season.
So
whoever he is, so yeah,
ruler of the Upside Down. Who knows? So yeah, I really don't have a lot to say because I just don't know what to expect. So I hope it's good. I mean, it's Stranger Things, probably one of Netflix's most successful series, on top of Daredevil, but not Daredevil's on Disney. So
we have the whole weekend to catch up with it.
Yes,
so.
yeah. Next week's podcast is going to be a mouthful.
I've restarted it. I've restarted with my kids, so we saw the first episode. It went okay. They might be a little young.
Yeah,
a
little scary.
Yeah,
a little scary.
You forget how creepy it is. It's like
it is. The first season is. I mean, when I first saw it, it's like it had some definitely 80s like horror into it. It was,
when the Demogorgon was in like the trash bin, your kids would probably never want to take out the trash now.
Yeah,
yeah, that was season 2, but season 1, like episode 1, just when Will's riding down the, after he departs with his buddy and. Flashlight or his headlight goes dim for a second. And he looks down. The second he looks up, it's like the shadow just kind of like. I felt the jump from the kids. Like, yeah, oh my god, I was not expecting that. It was like, yeah, sorry, it's gonna be creepy from here on out. So,
well, I mean, Stranger Things season 4 coming out Friday.
Cool. Catch up. I'll see what I can do.
All right.
Yep.
Our next topic is Marvel's Thor: Love and Thunder. That looks awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I
think it looks
super excited for that one.
So stoked. I love Ragnarok. I truly do. It's my favorite. I can't help it.
Yes, Ragnarok is a fantastic film.
I've been talking to you guys a little bit on the side. Because I like it so much, I'm gonna have to lower my bar because I worry it's gonna be. I'm gonna expect too much from it.
That's fair.
And I've gotten a lot. Yeah, out of the movies that came out since Ragnarok, they were great. I don't know for me if lightning could strike twice. pun intended. But
yeah, because it has a lot to live up to because Ragnarok was such a great film.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
You know what?
Not everyone in the room feels the same way.
Not everyone in the room feels the
throw
same
that out
way.
there right now.
That's very true.
Well, my expectations are not that high for the second one because wasn't crazy about Thor Ragnarok. So
yeah.
I'm going into Love and Thunder, just hoping that hey, it might be better than the first one. Ragnarok.
I have a feeling you're gonna end up being the one who likes it more than any of us, just
It's
because
possible. It's possible.
Probably.
It's possible.
Because I have a feeling they're gonna take that dramatic story arc. I mean, I guess no one knows this really, but should we bring up the possible Jane scenario?
Oh yes, the Jane Foster scenario.
Yeah.
So
I
mean,
the reason why
it's based
she's
off
always
of female Thor.
Thor.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, years ago they were saying, "Hey, if this is the one where Jane becomes Thor, it's because she has cancer." That's what they're adapting.
Every time she's talking to Thor, even in a casual situation, she's always in her armor.
And that's why she always has her armor, because when she takes it off, her cancer comes back worse.
Yeah.
So that's what. But we're not 100% sure that's the storyline they're adapting. They haven't really confirmed it.
They haven't, and it's because they want to probably give that appeal. And I bet because of that, it's going to have some pretty tough moments, and it's going to be hopefully dramatic in the way you want it to be. And if it is,
but I don't know, man. There's a lot of goofy moments I saw in the trailer too, where I'm like,
it's gonna, sometimes I want a goofy moment to help offset the super sappy ones, the soft, the sad ones, just.
Yeah, for me, if you're gonna go with a tone, just stick with the certain tone. You don't have to switch it up, and it just makes the movie kind of messy.
Well, we're talking about the trailer, so why don't we just pull it up so we can all watch it?
Oh yeah.
Right.
This is the Thor Love and Thunder trailer, so let's watch it.
Kids, get your popcorn now. Let me tell you the story of the space Viking, Thor Odinson. He was no ordinary man. He was a god. After saving planet Earth for the 500th time, Thor set off on a new journey. Well, he got in shape. He went from dad bod to god bod. And after all that, he reclaimed his title as the one and only Thor. Oh, spoke too soon.
Jane?
The old ex-girlfriend.
What's it been, like 3, 4 years?
8 years, 7 months and 6 days, give or take.
That was pretty good.
Am I sensing feelings?
Well, you're right.
The only ones who gods care about is themselves.
So this is my vow.
All
Right there, my
gods will
sense of
die.
Voldemort.
That's what everyone's saying, man.
I just want to say that was very, very impressive what you did back there.
He's just my first bad guy.
You never forget your first.
You are not like the other gods of kill.
Because I have something worth fighting for.
Let's see who you are. I take off your disguise. And flick.
Oh, you flipped too hard, damn it!
Should we help him?
And eventually, grape.
Awesome.
You flipped too hard, damn it!
Very excited for that movie. That looks freaking good.
Can I say that I'm not thrilled with Russell Crowe playing Zeus?
Why?
I'm not crazy about it. It's funny because if he was playing a kind of character that's supposed to be kind of badass, but you could tell he's supposed to be playing either a drunk version of Zeus. But to be honest, I was never happy with Anthony Hopkins playing
Wow.
Thor's dad either. I was never happy with it. I thought he was wrong for the part. You know, I always imagine someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger or
I
someone
used
like
to
that.
say that. I used to say that.
You know, I just
But I
and I know
just
it's funny because I'm saying Schwarzenegger. You think, well, that would be even more cornier, but I don't know. I just
Because
Russell Crowe as Zeus is.
I feel like Odin, him being like an old, wise, just powerful person. That's why I liked Anthony Hopkins as a role especially after Thor Ragnarok. I feel like his role kind of like solidified after that for me. Even in Thor 1, he was pretty
Yes.
good. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's what sold me because I was with Buck. I actually back in the day, man, must have been 02, 03. You and I we hung out one summer and we were sitting there trying to cast people. And I finally had read Thor, like the originals, I had Marvel Classics or something, and I was like, this is kind of a weird story, but I said, imagine back then actors were younger. At the time, I was like, imagine Brad Pitt playing Thor, but it's like
Yeah,
serious and it's awesome. And I was like, someone for his father needs to be someone like Schwarzenegger. It's like
yeah,
a big, older
yeah.
guy, but like just big.
Yeah.
And at the
I
time, I was
imagine
not
like an
imagining.
older, like Conan the Barbarian look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That look, yeah. So that's
Like
why I
that, and it
imagine.
was like not corny, like not. Look, I had no idea Thor was going to go in the direction it did, but at the time, it was just all seriousness, not goofy. Like, let's make it serious. You couldn't have a corny Arnold; it had to be a hardcore Arnold. That's what I first imagined, literally 20 years ago. Now I can't believe it. But when this happened, and I heard Anthony Hopkins, I was like, "That's not in my head, Arnold Schwarzenegger." But in that Thor 1, when he gets angry, fussing at his sons, that's where I was like, "I'm
Yeah.
sold."
When he
He
was
got me.
on
Like,
when he was on Jotunheim and when he came in on his
yeah.
on his 8-legged horse, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
And then he's yelling at him afterwards because Thor's like,
Yeah.
although we should have taken him, we need to be doing this or whatever. I can't remember how his argument. And then he's like, no, wait, don't. I can't remember how he did it, but he looked at him like, I will cut your head off, child. Like it was
Like you better
very scary.
stop it.
Yeah, I will take your allowance right away.
Yeah.
But I then became an Odin is Anthony Hopkins fan, so it changed. It evolved for me. What were we saying? Oh, so back to Russell Crowe. I have to admit, until you said that, I wasn't confident that was supposed to be Zeus, but I was thinking, I wonder if that's like a Greek god. He kind of looks, like he's dressed a little more Greek.
I mean,
when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, so it is Zeus. That's
most of the
funny.
time Zeus in like movies is portrayed as like a old strong buff kind of like powerful king of the titans, like king of the gods, ruler of the gods, whatever. But in mythology he's kind of like a drunken asshole a lot of the time. Like he's kind of like he has sex with a lot of women, he has a bunch of kids, he's irresponsible. It's kind of like he's kind of more of like a Robert Baratheon from Game of Thrones type of scenario. So I feel like that's kind of the route they're going with it, not as like, oh, I was once the mighty Zeus, but now I don't give a crap anymore about anything. So that's where I'm going with it now. Kind of that's what it's kind of like he's surrounded by like a bunch of women and
Right.
So-
But see, this goes back to my whole concern, and I know it doesn't. It bothers some people, and some they're okay with. But when you have, and Thor Ragnarok is a good example of that, and going into this movie. So if you have the scenario where Jane has cancer, and she has to be Thor in order not to have the cancer, you can have some serious elements, and then you're going to where Thor is kind of in the verge of retiring and changing. I'm not sure what's going to happen to him, but so you have those themes that are pretty like, I won't say dark, but they're kind of serious,
morbid, yeah.
right? Not necessarily dark, but just you're right, like morbid. It's hard for me to be invested in what they're trying to tell, a story like that. And then when you have something like that happen, like Zeus taking off Thor's clothes and make it feels so okay. Well, it's basically saying don't take it too seriously. It's fine. I get that, but for me, I cannot get invested in a story like that when they do stuff like that.
Also, a side note,
It's either go one way and stay that way, or stay the tone that you were setting out to say to set. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to, when you mix it up like that, for me to get into the story.
Yeah.
It just is. It's there's a fine line that it has to set, and when it goes over too much, it loses me, and I can't. Yeah.
Side note, when you said it, when Zeus flicks the clothes off Thor, if you do it a second glance instead of looking at the blurred part for a second, if you look at his back, he actually has a tattoo on his back, and it's Loki's helmet. And
Yeah, I saw that earlier online. They
peace,
talking about that.
Loki.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, it's Loki's helmet and what?
It says "Rest in Peace, Loki" on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so corny.
Rest in peace, yeah.
And
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the serious part of the movie, when they mention Jane has cancer, I feel like they're not going to mention that until way after, just because they want to focus on the entertaining parts first and then the serious stuff later. So they're probably going to mention that maybe like right before their big fight with Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I mean, because also this is a really short movie too. The runtime's only an hour and 55 minutes.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Okay.
The runtime leaked recently, an hour and 55. Yeah. Very short.
Feel quick.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sure it'll be good for most people. Look, I know I'm in the minority. I know most people love Thor Ragnarok. I'm not gonna deny it because I know it's a fact. It's just for me, it's hard for me to get that excited for this movie, because knowing that's more likely going to be like Thor Ragnarok. You know, I'm gonna see it because I know it's gonna connect to the rest of the MCU somehow. So I'm interested in that. But
yeah,
I mean, for me, it's just gonna be a movie that I'll probably see once and I'll never see again. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Thor Ragnarok was such a unique piece for a Thor movie specifically because the other two Thor movies weren't the same. I guess I want to say, like they were the Thor: The Dark World. We all know was not. It was probably one of the worst Marvel movies. Period.
It wasn't great. I didn't think it was like the worst thing in the world. I liked the first one.
The first one was okay, but the second one was pretty bad. I don't know. I did not enjoy the second one.
Honestly, I saw it once, and I'm trying to remember parts about it. I can't, but I remember watching it, thinking it wasn't as bad as people were saying.
I left the theater at that time liking it, not knowing something was bad until years later, and then there was like it's bad. I was like, oh, was it? I don't remember that. But I'm probably in the minority there, and I recognize that I liked the second one too.
The villain I wasn't a really huge fan of, Malekith, the Dark Elf people. That's also where Thor his mom died. It was after Avengers.
Right. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's right. His mom died there. That's right. So I remember watching it and just walking out like, okay, I mean, it wasn't great.
It was just an okay movie, in my opinion.
Honestly, I liked it more than Iron Man 3. I remember walking out of Iron Man 3 like saying, "Wow, that's
a hot take."
That disappointed the shit out of me. I didn't like that at all.
I didn't like what they did with the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, but then they kind of
that's the main reason. It kind of took the whole shift and
they kind of made up for it in Shang-Chi. That's why I kind of like Shang-Chi. But
it
helped out with Iron Man 3 a little bit.
Okay, but see, that's another one. Shang-Chi, you loved it.
You two are the minority. You two
and I'm not saying I hated it. I just didn't care for it, you know?
You were just saying I can't remember the villain in Thor 2. I can't remember the villain in it was his dad. You're right. We just said that.
Yeah, that I know. Yeah.
Wenwu. He is the real Mandarin. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was he?
Yes, because the reason why he even kidnapped the fake Mandarin in Iron Man 3 is because he was imitating his name. Because people call him the Mandarin.
You see, and it's funny because I was invested that whole time until they introduced the old Mandarin in Iron Man 3 and put his character in it, and they spent so much into it that's when I checked out. I'm like, yeah, see, they're crossing over Thor Ragnarok line. Where now they're making it like, okay, whatever happened, let's ease the tone down a little bit.
So the second they add the goofiness factor, is like you're
It's not what Thor Ragnarok did though. It didn't add Thor Ragnarok didn't add like suddenly a cheese ball. It was. I think the difference is Thor Ragnarok had a clever funny. Every line was meticulously developed to me to be perfect for that spot. I mean, we haven't talked much about Thor Ragnarok, but I think it's a perfect Marvel movie. I think it's a great rounded. It's got the drama. It does have silliness to it. I don't think it's slapstick. I know you keep saying slapstick. I think slapstick is like Men in Tights, where the guy's taking a dump in the outhouse and the castle gets rolling away and he's like, what the hell happened? You know, that's slapstick, like complete, just doesn't make sense. And it's intended to be that way. This is just Ragnarok goes. Everything in Marvel got sillier the further out in space we got. You'll notice that, like Guardians, it gets like wacky out in space, and Ragnarok, I feel like, is nice. It shows that, it really does, especially Sakaar. It's literally they call it the anus, right? the anus of the world of the galaxy or something.
The
Devil's anus.
Devil's
The
Anus.
devil's anus.
That was the black hole that they were in.
Okay, right. But the whole thing was like a trash planet, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I genuinely think like Thor Ragnarok is a good film, and I think it's because they portrayed Thor in a different way. I mean, I think it's because it started in Avengers when he was kind of like joking when the Avengers were kind of fighting amongst themselves. He was like, "Oh, your humans are so puny" or whatever. Like it was just like he was just kind of being funny, and I guess they wanted to stick to that type of Thor behavior. I mean, I think it's just his behaviorisms, his mannerisms, that they're just not of Earth. So I feel like they come off as goofy, I guess. I mean,
No,
I don't
I honestly thought his character was always like that since the first one. He always had like a child mentality, you know, like a spoiled child mentality.
Yeah.
That was never like that was nothing new going into Thor
But now
Ragnarok.
you
That
throw Hulk
it's
in the
just
picture, and then you
yeah,
got two children.
right. But see, that's the thing. Like go back with Rhett's point with Guardians. You're right. When Guardians was introduced, it kind of showed more of the a bigger side of the comedy side in the MCU. But the thing with Guardians and why I like the Guardians more than Thor, at least their movies, is because I didn't know anything about the Guardians. Those are people I never knew anything about in their comics, and so when they introduced them, I didn't know anything about them, so I was just accepting who they are. I'm like, okay, this is kind of like you know the goofy bunch in the story, and it worked. It was funny, you know. It had its cool moments, and I was on board. I even like the second one more than the first one. Um, with Thor, since I did know somewhat about Thor, and the first two movies presented themselves in a certain way, I understand they want to change it up, but I just felt they just went a little too much. There are just certain comedy elements that just felt it didn't hit, and it was just unnecessary. Look, it worked. I know it worked for a lot of people. It just for me, it just didn't work. It just felt. I know a lot of the lines Tiger Waititi said that were improvised, and I could see it. I could tell it looked like it was just made up in the spot. And for me, it didn't connect. There was moments that were just goofy. I mean, I'll go back. Look, I'll go back to the whole Thor and Hulk scene where they're talking, and Thor's telling Hulk, "You're the worst Avenger." I mean, I'm just like, what is this conversation? Like, what is this? This is just.
I love
It's,
that. I can't help
and it's funny because some people love it. I was sitting in the theater. I'm like, this is just cringy, man. Like, I don't. This is not what I wanted from the Hulk. I didn't want the Hulk to be this way. I wanted the Hulk to be like a character that you love and you fear. Not something. Not Barney. Not someone that's just this big goofy character. That's just.
Well,
I just didn't like that.
Think about it this way: the last time we saw Hulk from that movie was in Age of Ultron, and
Right.
and he was a badass in that movie. Like he messed
In the first
stuff up.
Avengers and Age of Ultron, he was
and
right.
then when he got lost in space and he landed on that planet, the Grandmaster loved him. I'm sure he probably caused a problem at first, but then afterwards, when he realized what the Grandmaster offered him, he probably got spoiled. He probably just said, "You know what? I don't want to be a warrior anymore. I just want to be nurtured and cared for, and I just want to be a baby. And I'll just kill
Well,
whoever
cheer
comes
for
out of
me,
the
yeah.
And I'll just
People like my destruction.
Yeah, so I'll just go out in the stadium once a week or whatever they do it, kill whoever they bring out, and then go back to being pampered." So I guess he kind of became more childish, but just by
but after that, then the whole character just became.
Yeah, they ruined it because
Yeah.
after Infinity War, after he got beat by Thanos, we never saw that true form of Hulk again.
Never.
We never saw
We
him
just
again.
got 5 years. Skipped 5 years, and he just became Smart Hulk. And it's funny. I didn't mind going to that eventually. I just felt they skipped to it too quickly. There was more versions of Hulk we could have seen. Red Hulk, different story beats that we could have seen. Which I guess it was kind of limited because Disney doesn't have the full rights to the Hulk, so they kind of had to shortcut.
Yeah.
But it just sucks because now we're getting She-Hulk, and you're getting the impression that he's passing the mantle on to her. It's like I feel like we haven't had enough of Hulk yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I see
But it is what it is. I mean, as far as Thor: Love and Thunder, man, look, I'm gonna see it. My expectations aren't high on it, but I'll see it. And I mean, Taika Waititi is directing the next Star Wars movie, so that's gonna be interesting to see if it's gonna go well with
Good
fans.
point.
I don't know
What world does he fit in better, Star Wars or Marvel?
who Tiger. What team?
Yeah, of
Oh, I would say Marvel. Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Because it does have silliness to it. When did it start? When did you said Guardians is when it really got silly? But was there? I think maybe the first Avengers with Joss
Yeah.
Whedon. That's
Yeah.
where we started to see like it was funny,
It was fun.
which,
Yeah.
which I think
Yeah.
helped the audiences a lot. Because otherwise, it's like us geeks kind of
See, but I know you like to pick on me because I'm like, well,
Sorry.
I don't hate comedy. It's not, and I don't hate comedy. It's just again, it's when it's that line that kind of it's in there, but it doesn't overtake the story, and that's what the first Avengers did, and a lot of the MC movies did that. They had, of course, it was a lighter tone than DC and everything, but they always kind of played that fine line of never going too much into that, and I felt that Thor Ragnarok was the first movie that actually did. It just crossed it way too far, and it didn't work for me.
I don't know about that though. Did Thor Ragnarok come out after Guardians 2?
Yeah, look,
it's before
Guardians had it too, but it was. I think Guardians still kind of maintained a level of.
I disagree. That fight that he had with his dad and he turned into Pac-Man. Come on, that was
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
goofy.
well,
And then he's playing catch with his
But
dad.
see,
That was also kind of
again,
goofy.
but see, again, these are characters that we didn't even know until the first movie came out. So it's easier to judge his characters. Okay, this is the comedy bit of it.
So,
Okay,
I didn't know. I didn't know him either, but I think that's perception. And I think it comes down to personal. I had this expectation. I got something else. Versus if you kind of step back.
So if the Thor movies would have started off like super goofy for you, then would you have liked Thor Ragnarok better?
I might have. You know, I'll use. I think I've used this example before. I don't know if in the podcast, but Deadpool. I knew exactly what Deadpool was gonna be walking into that theater because everything about the character, the marketing, we all knew this was gonna be the slapstick superhero, the very first slapstick superhero movie for sure. Because I mean, he breaks the fourth wall for God's sake. You know what I mean? So I knew that going in. So I knew this is exactly what to expect. And I mean, I like the movie. I like both of them. They were good. I don't think I've ever seen them again. But it's basically what I expected from those movies. So they're fine. Going into Thor Ragnarok, I did not expect it to be like that. It was just a little too much for me.
So expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't expect it either, but it worked for me. So it's kind of different. I didn't expect it to be that silly. In fact, I saw the preview for Thor Ragnarok and I was like, they're not going to be able to pull this off. They're trying to send us this awesome retro 80s vibe. They'll never be able to nail that. That's really hard to do. And I thought they knocked it out of the park.
Well, I was really excited to see Thor Ragnarok because not only that, but you had Hulk in there too, and it looked like they were not stealing, but taking from the World War Hulk storyline, and I was super excited for that. So,
personally, I didn't even know World War Hulk. I never heard of it. So I don't read comics anymore.
So my expectations were high for that movie.
That says a lot, though. I had very little, I guess. And that's how it should work, right? If you don't expect a lot, you tend to be more impressed. And if you're expecting a lot, you're probably not going to be.
I guess so. So walk into every single movie with the lowest expectations possible, and you'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to.
That's a hard thing to do. You can say it, but another thing is actually like believing it. Like,
especially for Marvel, that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
For right now, I'm gonna go into Thor: Love and Thunder with a low bar because I loved Ragnarok so much. I think as a personal level, even if it does meet it, Ragnarok took me by surprise. I had no idea how much I was gonna like it. I think I saw it 2 or 3 times in the theater. So probably the same with Avatar too. I love that movie, the first movie, and I'm probably not going to get even anywhere close to that.
No, probably not. I mean, I'm excited for Avatar too, but the expectations are low because they've taken 11 years, 13 years, 12 years to come out with the second movie.
Yeah, I jumped topics. I jumped ship. We got to stick with Marvel here. But
I mean, look, right quick for Avatar. My expectations are high for it. I still think they will be met. I don't think it was being the same level as the first one, but
I don't think so.
I mean, since James Cameron has already filmed like the 4 sequels already for this, there has to be a big story that he's put in this that must be like amazing. So I think he'll deliver. Yeah. But yeah.
So MCU does comedy, but you would say DC and Marvel, right? So MCU has managed to make comedy work. DC started out with the Snyder movies. Well, in the the DCEU, the Snyder movies were a little too hardcore for most people, most audiences. I think we liked them overall. I don't know about you, Marco. I think you were the oddball out of the three of us, but
Yeah.
Buck, you and I pretty much were like Man of Steel. Were like that was my cup of tea. I like that
Man
actually.
of Steel was okay with me too. I enjoyed Man of
I
Steel.
lo- yeah, Man of Steel was great. Love Man of Steel. Yeah.
Right. I thought it was a little weird on the editing because it did a lot of time hopping, and I was kind of like, I almost wish I would have gotten a bit more of a chronological piece. I kept hopping back to his childhood. I don't know. It was
Well,
fine.
that's why I kind of blame the MCU in that area. Not that it's the MCU's fault, but because they've mastered the way to make a movie that the whole family could enjoy on most of their stories. You know what I mean? They really have, and they don't understand that doesn't work for all superheroes. And most of the DC heroes, a lot of them, not that they're all dark, but a lot of them, their tone is completely different from Marvel's. So they thought, okay, DC thought, well, let's do, since this isn't working, it's not making the money they wanted. I guess let's go with the MCU kind of trend and make our movies like that. And yeah, it didn't work. That didn't work either. So
That
I
was
don't know.
really with Justice League, right? That's the first time we're like,
Well, there was Justice League, and let's face it, Aquaman felt like an MCU movie. I enjoyed it, but it was an MCU movie. It was Aquaman. It was an MCU movie. It had a lot of goofy comedy and a lot of like.
That's
Also, Shazam. Shazam felt a lot like a MCU movie, which I actually enjoyed. But
see, those two I really did like. They
yeah,
were really good.
did like him. I did like him. But then you have Justice League, the first
Justice
one.
League.
Yeah, and that was just like they just tried to pull an Avengers.
Avengers.
Justice
See, the same
and
director.
they
Like
rushed
that's
the project, and yeah, it just was
It
terrible.
didn't work.
Zack Snyder couldn't pull it off. I remember there was even a joke because Flash falls on Wonder Woman's chest. At one point, his face is like right in her cleavage.
Yeah.
And I think the exact same thing happened with Wanda and who was it? Someone fell on Wanda's chest and was like, wasn't that the exact same scene they pulled? And it was Joss Whedon who directed both of those scenes. God, who was it? Someone fell on someone's chest in the Avengers.
Could have been with Black Widow, probably.
Oh, it was probably her.
It was
Not yeah.
probably
Wanda was in the second movie, although that was still Joss Whedon also.
Yeah, maybe it was.
It's like let's copy everything we can from Avengers and try to shove it in what looks like a Snyder world.
But what's funny is that the Phase 4 for the MCU is actually had some darker tones in a lot of their stories, and I just don't think a lot of people are liking it though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, super dark tones.
Yeah.
We're in Phase 4 right now.
Phase 4, yeah. I mean, just the introduction in the multiverse is introduced a lot of like darker plots that it's not all family friendly, and I don't think a lot of I guess a lot of fans aren't liking it.
I think it's just a lot of grief as a whole in Phase 4.
There
I
is.
think a lot of people are just
There is.
grieving. I mean,
There is.
Spider-Man lost basically everything. I mean, Black Widow's sister, she went through grief in Hawkeye. I mean, Wanda, obviously.
Yeah. Wanda.
The Eternals. I mean, they're 3 of them left. I mean, we don't know. Again, we have to wait for the Eternals to really continue their story to know a lot more about that. But even then, like,
and I like the Eternals a lot. I honestly do enjoy what Phase 4 has done so far. I think out of what MCU has done so far, they deserve to explore other things and other storylines. Because I think they've done so much good that I think they want to take risks now. Like, hey, let's live a little. Let's see what we can do. We can experiment a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Funny because Eternals actually felt like a DC movie to me.
It did. That's probably why I loved it so much.
That's probably why I wasn't a huge fan of it. I was not.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah.
Wait,
I thought it was great.
No. You liked Eternals. I remember when it came out.
I liked it, but I don't like it that much.
Yeah, he gave it a 6. He gave it a 6.
Yeah, I gave it a 6. You guys liked it way more than I did.
Yeah, I gave it like a 8.5 or maybe a 9. I think it was an 8. I gave it.
No, I thought the 3 of us said it was an 8. So I don't know.
I watched it twice. I think after watching it twice, I give it a 6.
Okay.
I remember he gave it a 6 because it's the same rating he gave Venom 2. I'm like, really? I'm like, come on.
Yep.
So
I fell asleep in Venom 2, admittedly.
Like, you know what?
As you should have, honestly.
Venom is for another podcast because there's a lot I have to say about Venom that it's another one I disagree with you two a lot because I don't see the love in that movie at all.
It's not Thor Ragnarok. Let me make that distinguished. I
No.
like it, but I realize Venom is kind of corny and cheesy. I don't see that in Thor
Kinda.
Ragnarok. I think Thor Ragnarok is a masterpiece to behold that will never be beaten.
I'll give you this. Yeah, I'll give you this. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok is a masterpiece compared to Venom. And it's funny, and I haven't even seen the second one, but I know I hate it. I don't have to see it, but I know I'm gonna hate it because I've heard so much how the story is. I'm like, I don't have to see it. I know it. I know it sucks.
Time. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, for comedy in the MCU, Buck, you not a huge fan of it.
I'm okay with it as long as it doesn't overtake the main plot of the movie. That's all.
Right. Me and Rhett, okay with it for the most part. I mean, there are parts where it can be a little bit too much for me, but I'm okay with it for the most part.
Yeah, I think they have to establish who's going to be our funny ones. And Thor had a little bit, and then Avengers, they elevated it a little bit more. And then they're like, you know what? He needs to be one of our funny people. He matches these Guardians guys in space. He's kind of over here in Asgard. Let's, we're gonna go ahead and tie them in. They're gonna be the same type of comedy. Yeah. Those are our silly space comedy ones. Then we got our Winter Soldier over here. It's a little more serious. We got our Captain Marvel. No, I don't know what. I think they have to decide which ones are going to be the comedy ones and stick with it. Don't change it now. What do you call it? Phase 1, they kind of had an excuse to figure out what they were doing because they didn't know. By Phase 2, Phase 3, you start to feel it out. And I think as long as you do it with the right people, it's fine. Good. Go comedy.
I think that is a good place to end for tonight, gentlemen. I think we ended on a pretty good spot. So thank you guys so much for watching. And please join us next time. And we'll see you guys later. Adios.
Later.